We got a close game, and Stephen A., you and I have been covering this guy, LeBron James, for so long. He played all 82 games this year. He's in year 15, as we know, and yet a performance like this almost feels like exactly what is expected. After all these years, do you have the words for who this guy is and what he's able to deliver on a nightly basis?
Well, not one particular word, but he's on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. When you think about those top four guys in the history of the NBA, you can't ignore that his name is going to be on the list. When you're in your 15th season doing the kind of things that he's done, being in the phenomenal condition that you're in, taking care of your body, never ever cheating the game of basketball in terms of effort. We can't deny his greatness as an athlete. You can't deny his great accomplishments. But when you consider the fact that he's never cheated us, that he's always given us effort every time he stepped out on the floor, that's the ultimate acclaim that he deserves more so than anything else, that he deserves credit for. And I look at tonight's game, and in the same breath, having said all of that, understand that he's usually the biggest, strongest dude on the court when you consider who he's going up against. I mean, he's 6'9", he's 270 plus. We all know this in a game that's called considerably softer than it once was called back in the day. And so when you look at it from that perspective, it's almost unfair to think about having to go up against him. He can shoot, he can handle, he can get to the hole, he can finish at the basket, he can create his own shot. What are you supposed to do with somebody like that that's also 6'9", 270 plus?
Not much.
It's no wonder why most of the time we're looking against opponents and say they're helpless.
Right, but Cleveland, they got 42 out of him in game 2, and it wasn't enough because the surrounding pieces weren't good enough. And Mark just alluded to the fact, Stephen A., that the supporting cast was so much better at home, and to a large degree on top of what LeBron provided, they're the reason that they were able to win. Moving forward, do you feel like Cleveland's capable of, not capable, do you feel like they will go into Boston and get a victory? Because ultimately they will have to if they want to move on.
My honest answer, Scott, is that I'm not sure, because the fact that Boston wasn't blown out tonight, that they were scrappy all night long and maintained some competitive fervor, they were in this game, that leaves me cause to pause to some degree. J.R. Smith hit about 3 3-pointers. He was effective at points. Obviously, George Hill made his presence felt. He chipped in 13. Tristan Thompson had a double-double. We appreciate those things. The question is, are you going to see that in the hostile confines of Boston? And LeBron James said it best. They don't care about anybody that's not wearing a Boston Celtics uniform. They despise everybody else. That's an incredibly hostile environment. You would think a team that's seasoned and experienced would know how to overcome that. But in this particular series, we have not seen that from the Cleveland Cavaliers, obviously in games 1 and 2. The pressure's on Boston now because they can't come back to the Q down 3-2. They should be looking to force a game 7, because I don't think they'll win game 6 if they win game 5. But the pressure is clearly on them. You have no question that they will be ready because they're young Lions and they're not scared of anything. But we're going to see whether or not LeBron James supporting cast steps up to the task.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have no clue where we're going here, but I do think we are going to go 7 games. I feel like they're definitely going to end up back there because I think both teams will defend home floor in the next 2 games. Real quick, go ahead.
I will tell you this, and I'll say this on First Take tomorrow. Let me tell you something right now. If this goes 7 games, I don't think the Cavs win a game 7 in Boston.
Okay.
I don't think this supporting cast in Cleveland this year would show up for a game 7. They need to win this in 6.
All right, that's a tease for First Take tomorrow.